Aloha, my name is Shawn Clark, and I am the state statistician for USDA NASS here in Hawaii. I appreciate the opportunity to be part of the Hawaii Tropical Fruit Growers Annual Conference and to talk to you about USDA NASS in terms of who we are, what we do, and the importance of the work. I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to pull up now and share, so that'll take me just a minute to get that going. Who is NASS? As the statistical agency for USDA, NASS is responsible for collecting and publishing useful agricultural data. NASS stands for National Agricultural Statistical Service. Our history dates all the way back to George Washington. He was the first agricultural statistician, and in August of 1791, he sent out 8 survey questions to 5 states, and he was focused on land values, prices, and yields. The birth of USDA didn't actually come about until 1862 with President Lincoln, and it was intended for information gathering, and the first crop report was published in July of 1863. NASS was established in that same year, and at that time it was named the Division of Statistics, and the first report was on crop conditions. Today we have more than 900 personnel serving all 50 states and Puerto Rico, and we have centralized data collection and processing. We also have 12 regional field offices, which Hawaii is part of the Pacific Regional Office, which also includes California and Nevada. Our mission is to provide timely, accurate, and useful statistics in service to U.S. agriculture. And we have 5 main core values. The first is policy relevance. NASS provides high-quality statistical data essential for making informed policy decisions. Objectivity. NASS produces and disseminates unbiased statistical information on an impartial and transparent basis. Credibility. NASS maintains credibility among data users by issuing complete and accurate information about agriculture. Trust. NASS maintains producer trust and protects the privacy and data of those who provide personal and agricultural information as required by law. And commitment. NASS is committed as an agency to these values, and our staff is proud to serve the American farmers and ranchers, rural communities, and all those who rely on information that we produce. So what does NASS actually do? Well, we collect, assemble, process, and disseminate U.S. agricultural data. We conduct hundreds of national, regional, and state and local surveys each year. And we also conduct a detailed agricultural census every 5 years. And we publish hundreds of national reports annually. We partner with the state departments of agricultural departments, universities, and others, and conduct research to advance our statistical science. What NASS does not do is set policy, regulate activities, permit influence, disclose individual reports, or favor any group above others. We serve farmers and ranchers and data users. You can rely on NASS data to determine productivity and yields, track trends, set prices, improve operational efficiencies, reduce risk, identify trends, best practices and patterns, and analyze consumer demand. Manufacturers who use our NASS data use the data to identify market opportunities, predict demand, determine supply needs and inventories, develop new equipment and tools, improve existing products and services, develop software, apps to advance farming, and improve their ability to serve you, the farmer, better. Agencies also rely on the NASS data. RMA uses our data to provide services such as crop insurance. FSA uses our data to make market assessments and validate economic opportunities. And many farmers rely on these programs that utilize the data that NASS provides to them. So how does NASS Surveys benefit Hawaii agriculture? Well, NASS conducts surveys of various agricultural products, including avocados, cattle, hogs, milk, coffee, flowers, macadamia nuts, vegetables, fruits, etc. And part of this survey process is assigning a value to the commodity. NASS then submits these crop commodity values to USDA's Economic Research Service. Then they sum up all the values reported and then release the total value of agriculture for each state. That total value of agriculture is combined with all other states. And the result is the total value for the whole United States. And then this value is then in turn used in implementing the specialty crop block grant program. That's a tongue twister. So what is this program? Well, it was established with the Agriculture Improvement Act of 2018, the Farm Act, and it sets aside a block of money for each year from 2019 through 2023. The money is set aside to enhance the competitiveness of specialty crops, and the specialty crops are defined as fruits, vegetables, tree nuts, dried fruits, horticulture, and nursery crops, including floriculture. State departments of agriculture apply for grants from this program. The amount available for each state depends on the value of the specialty crops in that state. In fiscal year 2019, the amount of funds awarded for the U.S. through this program was $72.4 million. And the amount of funds that were awarded for Hawaii was around $580,753. So how do we increase our share? Well, the best way is to respond to NASS surveys. And while many of our surveys have a non-response component, that may not always be correct, and it could result in an incorrect estimate. The estimates are only as good as the data that we receive. The more good data we get, the better the statistics, and the more opportunity to increase that share in the crop block grant program. Of course, it's always better to respond. Some other reasons to respond is that your personal data is always confidential. We cannot release that data even if someone files a Freedom of Information Act request. And of course, as I mentioned before, the NASS aggregate data is used by crop insurance companies, the Farm Service Agency, and the legislature when making agricultural decisions. The Tropical Fruit Survey, prior to 2008, our office conducted that survey every year. However, after 2008, no surveys were conducted again until 2016. Major changes have been occurring in Hawaii recently, and there's been a greater emphasis placed on making Hawaii more sustainable and not as dependent on food coming from the mainland. Therefore, there has been an increased interest in growing tropical fruits. So we conducted a tropical fruit survey in 2016, and then we conducted another one in 2018. And hopefully this survey will be done every other year. So in 2008, when the survey was conducted, tropical fruits and crops were valued at $3.99 million from 2.05 million pounds. In 2016, that value had grown to $7.49 million from 4.43 million pounds. And the last survey conducted in 2018, the value was at $13.4 million from 9.65 million pounds. Now, 2018 did include bananas, but there's still, you can see there's a growth since 2008, tremendous growth. Your participation matters. All producers' participation matters, whether you're a small, medium, or large size farms. NASS data helps to indicate the health and well-being of the communities and the states. It gives you a chance to tell your story and to tell the story of those who have come before you. Without your participation, government leaders can't access local data, businesses can't determine the right product mix, USDA can't prepare for and respond to crises, and researchers can't advance studies or solve real-world problems. Data provided is used for statistical purposes only. This data is confidential and remains that way. Names, addresses, and personal identifiers are fully protected by NASS with the force of the law, and that's from Title VII. Published statistics from NASS surveys and censuses will not disclose reported data for any individual. The work we do is important to Hawaiian agriculture. So I want to thank you now for your cooperation and past response, because we can't do it without you. I provided a couple of websites here for you if you want to go out and visit USDA NASS, look at some of the reports that are there. I also have the website for the Hawaii specific site. You can go out and look at the reports there. You know, I'm pretty new to this island, having only moved here in late January of 2020. Who knew I would arrive just in time for the pandemic? But as you are acutely aware, agriculture has been deeply impacted by COVID-19. The demand from restaurants, hotels, caterers has decreased and threatened the survival of many farms. And it's also pretty much caused the tourism industry to disappear. So now more than ever, it's incredibly important that all producers are included in these data that we provide. And I encourage you to respond to NASS surveys, especially in these challenging times. When stakeholders, local and federal decision makers, and other data users want to know how this pandemic affected our farmers and the agricultural industry, they're going to look to NASS and our data for their analysis. So we want to make sure you're counted. So if you're a farmer and have not been getting reports from NASS, I've got a link there that you can go to and enter your information, submit your name and address and contact information, so we can make sure that you get included on future surveys. So our commitment to you is that we are committed to providing useful agriculture data and to help you access this information in support of your operation. Listed here is my name, my phone number, and my email address. So if you ever have any questions or need any information, don't hesitate to contact me. Okay, that concludes my presentation. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to you. As I mentioned, feel free to reach out at any time, and I'll be happy to try to assist you in any way I can. Thanks again.